Okay, well, this is where the frustration sets in. My goddamn defective torque wrench just broke this bolt off. All the other bolts were torqued to spec, 15 foot-pounds, which is 180 inch-pounds, which is the torque wrench that I'm using, since I could not find a 3/4 inch drive torque wrench at the store that comes in foot-pounds. It was just inch-pounds. So I had to convert it, and math checks out. 180 inch-pounds is 15 foot-pounds. But for whatever reason, that bolt broke off. I don't think these bolts are torqued to yield, so I don't think that was the issue. I am noticing that some of the bolts have black heads and some are silver. I don't know if that matters either, but that's not good. So I did some research and I talked to the person who is sort of guiding me on this rebuild. And Google, there was mixed results of what people were saying, but the person that I talked to about this said that if it's just one down here, your chances of it causing a problem, and the problem would be a leak, are very low, because all this is really doing is securing this to this gasket here. The plate itself is going to be in place. The check balls aren't going to go anywhere. This isn't going to move around if all the other ones are broken off. Or if all the other ones are tightened down, sorry. Just that one being broken off. It might cause a whining, I was told. It might cause some problems down the road, but if this transmission doesn't work when I put it in, it's not because of that. This is something that would cause issues down the road, and is definitely going to cause issues for someone down the road who wants to rebuild this tranny. But that's not my problem. I hate to be that guy, but, whatever. Apart from that, you're going to want to torque these to 15 foot-pounds. After I broke this one, I had already torqued that one, and that one to 15, but then I decided, when I was doing this, by the way, it was getting hard to crank that. It was like, that seems like a bit too much. So I backed them off and torqued them to 13. Is 2 foot-pounds going to make a difference when it gets down that low? Maybe, but probably not. So I torqued them all to 13 foot-pounds. That one's broken. There's not much you can do about that. In other news, getting this manual override valve in was a bit of a chore, because it's got to have this little S hook thing go into the side of the valve here, and into this retainer clip on your shift column. And doing that was a bit of a chore, because I had the valve body on before I put that valve in, and you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to put it all in and snake this through as you're putting the valve body on. But I couldn't get it to do that with all the check balls sitting the way they were, because they were going to fall all over the place if I was too rough with it. So what I ended up having to do is take this whole shifter assembly out so I could get this thing to slide all the way back, put my S-clip in there, and then slide this back into it, get it all torqued to where it was, put on, there's a castle nut down in there, right there, that holds that. That was a pain. There is no cotter pin in it though. And then there was this nail here. It's a pin, but it looks like a nail. I used a claw hammer to take it out and put it back in. But that holds this mechanism from sliding back and forth like that. So that took about 30-45 minutes to do all that. But I got that back on, torqued it to whatever it was before. I don't think it really matters. I got my wiring harness on. I got the this tube thing here on. That one's not torqued to 13 because it was making this thing hard to move. Ugh. It's a sauce. It's already hard to move, but there's that. It's going to be easier when there's fluid on it, obviously, but got that on. Now I'm about to install my TV cable mechanism, I suppose you could call it. But before I do that, I am going to show you this guppy that I've been talking about, that this shift kit came with. Right here is a prime spot for your reverse low input hole to leak. And when that leaks, it causes excess fluid, unpressurized fluid, to be, in the pan, and somehow, once again, by means of science that I do not understand, that causes a leak in your transmission pan, which is what my car had before and after I put the new filter in and put the pan back on. So what the instruction manual says to do is torque all your bolts to spec, in absence of that one, unfortunately, and leave this one untorqued. So this one's just sitting in there right now. What you're going to do is you're going to take your guppy here, looks like this, and see what the picture looks like. You're going to stick it right on that bolt there, on top of that separator plate. It's going to go right here, just like that. And it's going to push up against here and here, this surface, and the back of this surface. And it's going to seal this, so when your reverse thing leaks, the fluid doesn't travel along this line here and leak out of that hole right there, which is what it was doing before. So yeah, I'm going to do that quick. So there it is. That's the bolt. It's a short one. Take your guppy, and I don't think you can only put it on the one way, and it's going to go on just like that. Right? It's going to want to fall, so I'm going to have to do it with two hands. But you put your bolt back in and torque that bolt to 15 or 13 foot-pounds. And that's what it looks like when it's on. It's going to just sort of sit here, and when everything's together, there's going to be pressure applied to that, and it's going to prevent that leak from happening, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how it works. You'd have to ask a transmission expert. But yeah, apart from that, I'm going to get the TV cable thing assembled, and luckily for me, I was thinking I was going to have to try and figure it out on my own, but there's a whole, 2 pictures and a whole bunch of info about how to do it, so I'm going to do that, and then you won't see another video of the transmission without the pan on, I don't think. Unless I do one for this governor, which I probably will actually, so I just take back what I said. But after the governor, I'm going to get transmission pan on, and then tomorrow we'll put it in the car, or attempt to begin putting it in the car. I don't think we're actually going to get it there, but we'll start. It's a work in progress. See you then.